Greetings, seekers. Tonight the Margrave and I wander through the veiled corridors of history and spirit. We pull at a thread that threatens to undo the very tapestry of time itself, a notion so audacious it makes the stars tremble, the phantom time hypothesis. What if I told you that nearly 3 centuries, 297 years to be precise, were conjured from nothing, that the years 614 to 911 AD never happened, and that this grand deception was woven by emperors, popes, and perhaps darker forces? In 1991, a German historian named Heribert Illig dared to propose that the early Middle Ages were a fabrication. He claimed that Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and perhaps Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII conspired to forge 297 years of history. Why? To align their reigns with the year 1000 AD, a millennium after Christ's birth, a date dripping with Christian and cosmic significance. But this is no mere academic curiosity. It is a mirror held up to our own age, where fake news, spurious experts, and political spin twist truth daily, reminding us that history is not stone but clay, molded by those with power. I helped myself to a glass of port, taking a large swig, as the Margrave outlined this disconcerting idea to me. As a Hermeticist, I see the universe as a grand symphony of hidden truths, the Margrave began. Illig's hypothesis resonates with this. History, like the cosmos, can be manipulated. Heribert Illig points to discrepancies in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. When Pope Gregory XIII corrected the calendar in 1582, it was adjusted by only 10 days, not the 13 days expected, if 1,582 years had truly passed. Illig argues those missing days betray 297 years that never were. A bold claim many consider to be erroneous, but consider this. What if time itself is a construct, a veil drawn over our eyes by those who seek to control the narrative of existence? Now let us turn to Charlemagne, the great unifier of Europe, the father of the Holy Roman Empire, or so we're told. I confess, I find Charlemagne fascinating, a towering figure, a myth made flesh. Yet, where is the evidence? Contemporary accounts of his life are scarce, almost ghostly. His biographer, Einhard, wrote decades after his supposed death in 814 AD, and the artifacts tied to him, like the imperial crown, have been questioned for centuries. Illig suggests Charlemagne may not have existed at all, but was a legend crafted to fill the phantom years, to some, much like King Arthur, a glamorous ancestor for Otto, and a dynasty that needed legitimacy, a dynasty happy to accept the church's blessing. The Margrave caught the look of shock, and quite frankly, horror, on my face. I've known him long enough to know that he must have given this idea considerable thought. Did you know that there is practically nothing in the archaeological record for 3 centuries, and then we're supposed to accept that when they did start building again, they did so in precisely the same style? I must admit, it did seem like quite the stretch, but I wasn't quite sure how serious the Margrave was. Like many of the teachers he most admires, Gurdjieff, Carl Jung, even Jesus himself, he liked to play with provocative ideas that challenged conventional thinking. He even sent a congratulatory note to pop sensation Katy Perry, thanking her for a hilarious piece of theater after her recent trip into space. I don't know whether it was the port or the cognitive dissonance prickling my brain, but I now felt completely present. I took another sip as the Margrave continued. Contrast this with the Merovingians, the dynasty Charlemagne's Carolingians replaced. Their coins, their graves, the stunning artifacts recovered, even Gregory of Tours chronicles, they are tangible, rooted in the earth. The Merovingians ruled with a mystic aura, their long-haired kings seen as divinely ordained, until the church, perhaps with imaginative connivance, backed the Carolingians to supplant them. Why? Was it to erase a lineage too steeped in ancient wisdom, a line confident in their own right to rule? Clovis was acclaimed as a new Constantine, taking the purple though his own efforts, with God on his side, making himself king of the Franks. Even his name and symbols were adopted by later rulers, Louis becoming the most popular name for French rulers, his fleur-de-lis on many a noble banner. The Merovingians' fall and Charlemagne's rise feel like a sleight of hand, a story spun to shift power. The Church's blessing, or was it a curse, sealed this transition. And then there is Pope Sylvester II, one of the shadowy architects of this alleged deception. Known as Heribert of Illig, he was no ordinary pontiff. A scholar of the quadrivium, arithmetic, geometry, astronomy, and music, he was whispered to be a sorcerer, a man who trafficked with demons to unlock forbidden knowledge. It is said he built a bronze head that spoke prophecies, a hermetic machine attuned to the cosmos. Was Sylvester a mere mathematician, or did he wield arcane arts to bend time itself? If Illig is right, Sylvester, with Otto III, forged manuscripts, invented dynasties, and reshaped history to crown their era as the dawn of a new millennium. A sorcerer pope rewriting the stars. I listened intently as the Margrave continued outlining the disconcerting theory. This brings us to today. We live in an age where truth is malleable, where fake news and political spin shape our reality as surely as any medieval scribe. If Otto and Sylvester could invent centuries, what stops modern powers from crafting narratives to suit their ends? Could today's media simply be a modern take on medieval monasteries, churning out manuscripts of approved knowledge? The Margrave paused for a moment as I let his words sink in. He smiled, waving a hand as if to dispel my concerns. My friend, I still have many questions to answer before I'm convinced. But Illig's phantom time hypothesis, though summarily dismissed by most historians, serves to remind us to ask important questions. How much of our past is real? How much is a story told to control us? The Merovingians' replacement, Charlemagne's myth, Sylvester's sorcery, and brazen talking heads. They whisper to us that history is not a record, but a spell cast by those who hold the pen. As a Christian hermeticist, I seek the divine spark within the chaos. Illig's hypothesis, whether true or not, is a call to awaken. It reminds us that time, like truth, is a fragile thing, easily bent by those who understand the power to shape it. Charlemagne may be a ghost, the Merovingians a forgotten truth, and Sylvester a sorcerer weaving spells of time. But the real question is this: what other veils have been drawn over our eyes? What other centuries and events have been lost or invented? Seek the truth, my friend, for it lies not in history books, but in the spaces between. And I leave you with this thought, my friend. Isn't it curious that Napoleon famously said that history is a set of lies agreed upon? The Emperor, a man who chose the golden bees taken from the Merovingian Childric's tomb as symbols to adorn his cloak at his own coronation. Question everything, even your own basic assumptions, said the Margrave. Inspired by Heribert Illig's phantom time hypothesis. Sources: Heribert Illig, The Invented Middle Ages, 1996. Emmett Scott, A Guide to the Phantom Dark Age, 2014.